Well, the Grizzlies have done it again. And I'm gonna be honest, I did not think that I'd be making a sequel to my Ja Morant video only a month after it came out, because in that one I highlighted Morant's history of borderline cocky statements and his most recent one at that time about how he and the Grizzlies were, quote, fine in the West. And now, only a month later, Dillon Brooks, the man who proclaimed the Grizzlies to be a dynasty in the making, has not only gone at LeBron James, but allowed Shannon Sharpe to draw him into a shouting match that eventually saw the whole team and Ja Morant's father, T, rush over to the sideline to chop it up with the cardigan-wearing, smoke-dealing Uncle Shannon. Now, none of this is new information after all. That game happened a little over a week ago to the release of this video. I'm pretty sure you've heard about it, but what is relevant is the Grizzlies' response after this debacle went down, and spoiler alert, it's not good. And just to make it clear, I'm not making this video today to bash the Grizzlies or any of their players. My mindset is always positive. It's pro-player success. Any criticism I deliver is structured to be constructive in nature, and it's evident that the Grizzlies need some of this right about now. While they may not hear it from me, hopefully Ja Morant, Dillon Brooks, and company have some trustworthy people around them who can keep it a buck and echo some of the main points I'm about to deliver in this video. And of course, I want to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. So today, we'll look at how the Grizzlies culture is getting increasingly more toxic with their wannabe bad boys persona and how it's actually hurting their team. We'll look at recent examples of how their trash talk has taken their attention off of winning, and what Ja Morant can do as the leader to help his team get locked in on their ultimate goal. This is Topic Tackle. Let's go. What's good, people? JC3 here. Appreciate you tuning in once again to Topic Tackle, where we dive deep into the basketball world. We see through the storylines and narratives to give you the perspective that the media doesn't venture to. So if you're tired of shallow analysis and you want to become a deep diver, go ahead and hit subscribe. Leave a like on this video. I greatly appreciate it. Now, I mentioned in my previous video on Ja Morant that the Grizzlies were becoming the most unlikable team in the league, and with their recent antics, I think it's safe to say that they've outpaced the Suns for this prestigious honor. And that could mean one of two things. Either you embrace it and become the bad boys, or you can't provide the public with a reason to, if not change their mind, at least respect you. Because to be the bad boys, you have to talk trash, play physical, in-your-face, pest-like basketball, and win to back it up. First off, credit to the Memphis Grizzlies, because before their dust-up with Uncle Shannon, they were ballin' on an NBA best at the time 11-game win streak. During this stretch, they handled business. There were no more quotes from Ja to the media that made headlines for the wrong reasons, and the closest they came to a potential dust-up was against the Utah Jazz when Jordan Clarkson clearly took a shot at Desmond Bane on the drive, leading him to square up on a fight we definitely know he was pump faking on.
You're gonna keep pump faking that thing, or you're gonna take a shot, Brad?
Huh? What?
Bane responded to Clarkson's gesture appropriately, in my opinion, on JJ Redick's podcast.
I think Clarkson's not really a fighter type. You know, he's done up this.
He's squared up a lot, though.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's like 0-4 so far. 4 squares, no punches.
I was going to ask you. So all was good in the land of grit and grind until the Grizzlies embarked on a 5-game road trip out west, with 4 of the 5 games coming in Cali. Their first matchup against the Lakers came with some preloaded beef after Desmond Bane and LeBron exchanged words during a regular season meeting last season. Bron thought he was being disrespected, and he let Memphis know about it by driving by the whole team and dunking on Jaren Jackson shortly after this happened. Memphis ended up winning that game big though, but now the Lakers had a chance to redeem themselves, and extra fuel was added to the fire with the Grizzlies' main instigator Dillon Brooks guarding LeBron James. While Brooks may have been guarding LeBron in-game, sitting courtside was the real LeBron defender in Shannon Sharpe, and his history of calling out the Grizzlies' trash talk also added additional fuel to the fire for what was about to go down. But on this night, it escalated right before the half as Sharpe called out Brooks and how he couldn't guard his main man, LeBron. Brooks told him to shut up, and Shannon told him to come over to the sideline if he wanted that smoke. Ja Morant started barking at Shannon to sit down, and that led to Aquaman Jason Momoa, Steven Adams, coming over, followed by the rest of the team and Ja Morant's father, T. Shannon was surrounded by security, no punches were thrown, and this all blew over with Shannon and T dapping it up later on. While this didn't seem to affect the Grizzlies at first as they outscored the Lakers in the third quarter to take an 89-81 lead into the fourth, it was in the final frame that the wheels started to fall off. The Grizzlies were 28-1 when leading into the fourth quarter this season, while the Lakers were 1-22 trailing into the fourth. Memphis was also a perfect 31-0 when leading by double digits until it was Uncle Shannon who wasn't ducking no smoke. Now, you can't look at that stat and tell me that the Grizzlies run-in with Shannon didn't have something to do with them blowing their lead. And despite the L, Dillon Brooks was talking like they won after the game, sharing how he contained LeBron by forcing him left and saying that they shouldn't have let a regular pedestrian like Shannon Sharpe back on the sidelines, but it's LA. What? Once again, Memphis has got some guys that are living in their own alternate universe, if you ask me, man, because if a 3-time Super Bowl champion and Hall of Famer is just a pedestrian to you, one would assume that you've got those accolades to be talking like that. Anyway, this is an example of the wannabe bad boy behavior that the Grizzlies perpetuate. Because they haven't backed up their talk yet with some hardware, many are going to view them as merely a source of noise, a wannabe tough team, an imposter to the real deal standard of excellence like the 4-time champion Golden State Warriors or LeBron James over the course of his career or the Super Bowl winning Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. So I was curious to see how the Grizzlies as a unit would respond to this loss, and based on what the past week has shown, it's not good. They trailed big for the majority of the game to a struggling Phoenix team with no Ayton and Booker before falling short on a comeback effort. Unfortunately, they lost Steven Adams after this matchup with a PCL sprain. They then traveled back up north to Sacktown to face the number 3 team in the West on a back-to-back and chose to rest Morant for this one. And honestly, I don't think it would have even mattered if he played because the Beam team shot the lights out with 12 threes in the first quarter, tying the NBA record. Memphis also did not score a field goal during the final 9 minutes and 59 seconds of this game either, which is, well, once again, not good. Then you get to the Warriors game on Wednesday night, and despite Golden State trying their best to beat themselves with Jordan Poole's late game shot selection and Curry yeeting his mouthpiece in frustration resulting in him getting ejected, Poole redeemed himself by catching Memphis asleep on the back cut off the baseline inbounds pass for the game-winning layup. What was also notable in this one was that despite the impressive acrobatic plays that Ja was making throughout this game, his lack of a reliable jumper made him very predictable to defend at the end. The Warriors brought help on his drives and showed up to 3 defenders on his layups. On the contrary, Steph Curry's shot-making ability with his jumpers over Ja, I might add, clearly shows why he's in that upper echelon of guards, even above Morant. And finally, Memphis wrapped up their road trip with a 5th straight loss coming at the hands of the Timberwolves, who've been without Karl Anthony Towns for a while now, but they saw Ant-Man step up big time to down the team that knocked them out of the playoffs last year. All in all, not a good road trip. And at this point, I just can't buy the narrative that the Grizzlies trash talk is merely confidence and grit. It's clear to me that it's not helping this team win, and for more examples of that, I seriously do encourage you to check out the last video I did on Ja Morant, because since his "I'm fine in the West" statement, Memphis is just 7-8 against the Western Conference. And since Shannon dropped his smoke tape featuring track 7 titled "I Bet You Won't Grizzlies Diss," Memphis hasn't been able to find a win yet. To wrap up, credit to Ja Morant for how he handled the Uncle Shannon situation in the post game. Let's play that.
Let me think. Nah. I ain't gonna address that. I ain't gonna address that.
Yet still, he retweeted Memphis versus everybody the day after the Laker game, so interpret his response as you want. Overall, what can Ja Morant do as the leader to help his team get locked in on their ultimate goal? You know, it's not like he can change Dillon Brooks' personality or make his dad not run up on Shannon, but what he can do is represent what he wants the culture of this team to look like. Memphis grit and grind has always been about outworking the opponent, doing the dirty work and making big plays defensively to win games. And it seems like with the Grizzlies' next gen motto, they've transformed from gritty underdogs to overhyped young dudes with big mouths. Does that sound harsh? Honestly, I don't mean for it to be, but what this team will choose to be is yet to be seen, and it'll be witnessed by all on the playoff stage. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Should the Grizzlies dial back the trash talk going forward? Why or why not? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and we'll be back with more Topic Tackle coming soon. As always, stay solid, people.